Welcome to the Restoration Revolution podcast, where we help restore hope and put your family on the road to recovery, one episode at a time. Here's your host and owner of Hazard Clean Restoration, Chad Mallonee.
Biohazard scenes are emotionally and physically hazardous. Hazard Clean doesn't just clean them up, they restore lives with care, skill, and urgency. Welcome, everyone. I'm Sophia Yvette, the co-host / producer, back in the studio with Chad Mallonee, owner of Hazard Clean Restoration. Hi, Chad. How's your week been so far?
It's going great, Sophia. It's going great. Glad to be here.
Right, that's great to hear. Now, we've all got an idea about what biohazard cleanup entails, but can you tell us what makes Hazard Clean different when it comes to biohazard cleanup?
Well, it's a interesting question and a great question as well. And there's a lot of biohazard companies out there, and I think a lot of them are more generalists. And at Hazard Clean, we focus with what we call, or what's called, forensic restoration when it comes to biohazard, and that really, it means that we just take it to a different level. We put a lot of science behind it, and we also confirm that whatever we're cleaning, we're also remediating it, and we're getting it to basically hospital grade clean. And we focus in that process on the structure, the contents, and the indoor air quality as well when we're looking at remediating, whether it's an area or a structure. We do that through a series of tactics, techniques, and everything. And so some of those tactics, when we have a structure that's contaminated, we're there to really make sure we contain, we control, we neutralize, and we remove that threat, that hazard, or that contaminant.
So, Chad, getting into it a little bit more, what types of training do your team members undergo for biohazard cleanup?
A lot. We constantly train, and that's one of the things to make sure, because you don't want to go into, especially when it comes to biohazard, you really don't want to, that when you get that call for that be the first time you've worked on any of those, tactics or trainings. So some of there's a lot of steps to it. So like some of the steps are, we're going to forensically clean something, and when we're doing that, we're going to remove that pathogen, that microbe, that dangerous contaminant, and we're going to prepare those surfaces both vertically and horizontally for decontamination, disinfecting, neutralization, whether it's that area, that structure. After we do that, then we typically are going to apply a hospital grade, an EPA or hospital grade tuberculoside that has a 6-log kill. And it's also proven to kill both gram-negative and gram-positive bacteria. And it's also going to inactivate enveloped and non-enveloped viruses. So that's just one of the steps that of many that we really put into making sure that when we contaminate a building or a structure or an area, that we make sure it's safe.
Wow. Now, Chad, let's get into the emotional side of things. How does your team prepare emotionally for sensitive scenes?
It's a great question, and there's not a one size fits all answer to that, because we're dealing with people, we're dealing with emotions. Every situation is different. That next call that you got last week is going to be different than the call you get today. And so we talk through a lot of that. But when we have a scene or an incident that occurs, we actually will talk through what's occurred, how it occurred, and what we're going to be walking into. We make sure everyone's comfortable going into that type of scene. And, we train a lot on the emotional side of it, of what to expect. And also, safety is paramount. And so we train a lot around safety, because when you feel comfortable and you've trained through that and you feel safe, then, for the most part, when you go into an incident, as long as you're safe and feel safe, your training will kick in, as they say, and you'll be able to to really rely on your training that you've had up to that point to really make a difference.
What about those times when the team members go in or you go in and you may not feel emotionally ready to see a scene like that? What's the protocol then?
Well, then if the team member doesn't feel emotionally ready or anything, then there's no reason for them to be on site. They can help us in other ways. There's other there's other calls that we have, so that that team member could go to a different help a different customer, because we do a variety of things. We don't just do biohazard and everything. So we do water losses, water damage, fire damage, mold, all those type of situations. So there's other clients or customers or situations in the community that they can help out and be of service to.
Now, how do you ensure the safety of both your team and people re entering the space?
Well, with the team, that comes down to the training and making sure that we do our proper site assessments and we know the risks involved. That when we're going into that project or that incident site or whichever it is. And so that really comes down to just our training, doing the site assessment, making sure that we've identified the risks. We really, if we're in there and we're in full PPE and we have our PAPRs or what a lot of the community would think of as like gas masks. If we have those on and we are fully suited up in PPE, there's no reason that anyone else should be in there but our team. And that at that point, that's really just for us to be in there, making sure we are doing what we need to do to make that building or that area safe. But as far as our team, that's where we have the right PPE, we have the right protection, we have the right training to make sure we make a difference.
So, Chad, do you have any final words today on what makes Hazard Clean different when it comes to biohazard cleanup?
Well, it really comes down to our training, and when we focus on the forensic restoration of it, we can actually demonstrate that that we can't. Doesn't matter if it's a whatever contaminant, microbe, anything else. There's not a contaminant or microbe on this planet that we can't negotiate and we can't make safe. And we're not only going to make that food grade safe, we can demonstrate that we'll make that area or that structure hospital grade safe.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that valuable information with us today. We'll catch you in your next episode. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
You got it, Sophia. You too.
Thanks for listening to the Restoration Revolution podcast, where recovery starts here. Let us help put your family on the road to recovery. Go to hazardclean.net or call 772-259-5018. That's 772-259-5018.